a tree. Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am one of your hosts, Rach Tenkar, and with me, as always, on Saturday nights, even Mother's Day weekend Saturday night, is none other than my better half, my spouse, Rachel.
Hello.
So, this is one of those weekends which been guilty of this
Mm-hmm.
when Rachel's mother was still alive, and
Mm-hmm.
we were at the beginning of our. I think our marriage. I think we were married. Sometimes you forget that you've got two mothers. You can fuck things up. I forgot that I wish my mother like a happy Mother's Day. We went out to like Connecticut, and I forgot that I had my own mother. To
Oh no, I think she was already passed by then.
no,
No.
no, there was one where I screwed up. And it was, and I remember because your mother was still around. It's like you remembered one, but not the other. Like,
Oh.
oh, you can do it. I did it, so I know. TXG, welcome. By the way, I'm gonna.
Well, she was away anyway. They were in the Poconos.
Well, now, yeah, and even
Well,
that
no,
time,
that Mother's
right?
Day.
That time, you're right. Same thing. The same thing. So now we have to make sure that we make the proper phone notifications. Put it in a proper logbook that we made our proper Mother's Day notifications. I'm joking, but you know what? Trust me. They say that they don't care. It's okay. Well, they,
It is not okay.
it's not okay. TXG, you had a colonoscopy yesterday. Ew.
Congratulations, you got through it.
Yes.
That's
I
one of the things that we all dread and all like postpone until we can't anymore.
hopefully everything came out well in the end. I
What a
thought
wonderful sentiment. It
I just
is really.
I couldn't help myself. I thought that was appropriate.
Oh,
TXG, my butthole felt like it owed someone money, and they came to collect.
nice.
There you go. Well, isn't that a interesting set of occasions to have to deal with? Terry, welcome. TXG found one polyp and no cancer. Well, that's a good thing.
Awesome.
Very cool. Um, yeah, again, Mother's Day. Again, with us, uh, my parents decided they were going to head out to the Poconos and spend a week or so up there in the Poconos. So it kind of took us out of Mother's Day obligations of, oh shit, we're the kids that got saddled with Mother's Day, and my sister is taking Saturday.
Yeah, I'll take her out to lunch, and then like we get the Sunday to take her out
Yes.
with all the
Oh, good luck
with the
finding
prefix meals and the special menus that are
the,
jacked
the the
up.
lines and the prices and the
Yeah,
reservations that you made, and then it was like, oh, I don't have to worry about any of that shit. So
we get to enjoy her.
yes,
I mean, when
thankful.
they return.
Yes, thankful for thankful, but yes. Tammy, welcome. Yes, a 2 week absence because you had the plague that was going on.
Oh no.
You had the youngsters from the college or something like that that had to get whipped into shape and made sure to perform properly. I hope no heads were put on pikes.
Uh-oh.
Tom, welcome. ZWiki. Oh my God, welcome everybody. Joe Block,
Joe.
Grognard, welcome. I'll be seeing you. Joe and I live relatively close, and I'll be seeing him shortly because Joe will be at North Texas in a couple of weeks. By the way, Joe, just throwing this out there but Professor DM is asking when we're all going to get back together, so we'll try to schedule something for, I guess, July-ish, and get the regular New York area people, which I think I'm the only true New Yorker, out there to the complete strategist. TXG. Yeah, how to get it done. I think I dodged the bullet with all the bad choices I made in the past.
Oh, good for you.
Got me thinking about making changes. That's kind of the reason why this uh, live stream exists.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that life was a bunch of bad choices. I didn't make. Well, I guess I made a choice in occupation, which led me to be a responder for 9/11, the World Trade Center, which led to cancer, but survived that
So
fine.
not quite bad choices.
There are choices.
The
there
luck
are,
of
there are bad choices in allowing myself to be an overindulger in food.
right,
Yeah.
believing that it's our God-given right to eat
No.
junk
Well,
all day, every day.
when I was younger and believed in the immortality of the badge, possibly drinking to excess and putting myself in the bed, potentially bad situations, not just for me but for others. But that comes with the level of maturity too. That only comes through, I think, fucking things up.
As you learn and you live your life.
When you go
through experience.
But for the grace of God go I. That's usually you're saying that because for the grace of a higher being. Yes. Tammy, I was in Oz, but I'm back. Huge success. Nice.
Good.
Joe, yes, we live an hour away from each other and we'll be traveling 1,000 miles to see each other. That is so true. And when we go to the Poconos, Rich and I, we probably travel like within 10 miles of your house. I'm quite sure along our trip through Jersey. So, and Joe's definitely up for another trip to the Strat. Awesome.
All right.
It's always a lot of fun. V's wiki. V's about to hit 50. Time for his colonoscopy. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like
avoiding that.
You've been avoiding it. I've been avoiding.
Well, yeah, I'm 51 now, but yeah, they always would be like, oh, here's this little thing, and it's got a little spoon.
I want to do the one that
a little spoon.
I want to
like the little one that you use for your moisturizer to take it out of the thing. They want you to play in your poop and send it in.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to send.
But that doesn't. Colon
guard.
Yes, that doesn't account for a colonoscopy. Somehow they can check for cancerous cells in your poop, and so they try to do that earlier. Because I had another doctor who gave it to me, and I just filed it in the garbage.
Oh, so Joe's like, what? More like 100 yards within. I can hear I-80 from my house sometimes. Okay. God bless you. And Joe, it's good to have you, back as a visitor on the live stream, in the chat. When you're apparently home and not out with the medical emergency.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to be a bit of a distraction and a little bit of an entertainment, but I'm also glad to see you home and healthy. So, Tammy, they couldn't hit my vein after 3 tries, so I was fully awake during mine.
Oh, okay.
So awkward making chit chat with a German accented doctor. Now
I remember that.
I understand that completely. With my German doctor for my heart, for my cardio surgeon, very much so, because when they do the angioplasty, they don't put you under. It's local. It's just maybe a little happy sauce to make you I don't care so much, but you still know they just made an incision in your crotch, and they're going through. So yeah, although I like my surgeon so much. I hope I never have to encounter him again. Mm-hmm. And I really do like it. We got a great bedside manner. He's one of the top cardiac surgeons in the country. But I'd rather not need or have to avail myself of his services again. Just a little bit. TXG is also a virtual colonoscopy. No prep and no sedation. Only a few hospitals use it. It uses a CT scan.
Oh.
Wow, that's something that I could get in. Well,
I can get behind.
I could get behind that. Yeah. That could get me to move my movement. Sort of, maybe.
Well, yeah. You can take the stuff, but you just don't have to.
Well, you
stick a tube up in it.
Well, you could bound me over. It says no prep. There's no prep. There's no. No. There's no. There's no diarrhea. TFG. See, Vicky, get a bidet. If you can, I'll make your life so much easier. The liquid diet is only for a day. Oh,
okay.
It's okay. It's see, now we had this conversation going into the world of poops, and Tammy hit you all at once, and bathroom. You and the bathroom get very acquainted. That's like you gotta make reservations.
Light some candles in there.
Light some candles in there.
Yeah, so it
turn the fan on.
Doesn't stay stinking.
Turn the fan on as your first step, young lady. Light some candles. What kind of house do you think we're operating here? Light some candles.
Not too sure.
Turn the fan on and get out the poop spray.
That's always present there.
There you go. I couldn't find it because I never looked for it. Think, all right. Hopefully nobody was following right behind me. TXG. Yep. Every time I thought I was safe, it was like, oh no, gotta make it.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's not fun at all. Wow. But we talk about like poops and
stuff we have to do.
And then we get like 9 people watching the live stream at this, which is pretty good for a Saturday night. I gotta say. So and by the way, I was hoping to get like actual guests for we could have guests right for game was held for weeks on end. And the reality is it's also stressful to do that when you already have guests throughout the week on your other live streams. So for those that don't know and haven't seen it yet, Wednesday night, Mike and I had Kelsey, best known for her Shadow Dark Kickstarter. Amazing guest. Oh my God. Sweetheart of a woman. Love to have her back on. We were online. We that live stream lasted nearly 3 hours. We had Phil Reed on yesterday on the Random Party Generator. That lasted with Phil for over an hour, and then we were on for at least another hour after that, after Phil dropped. And I was, there's a concern. Really, the first time you have somebody on a show that hasn't been on it before, you have that concern. Like, I want to make sure they have a good time. And Phil reached out to me this morning, and he's like, that was a blast.
Oh, good.
I'd love to come back. And that tells me a lot. But now I want to address that now, because with Kelsey, there were some complaints that Mike and I, particularly Mike, but me too, because I love to talk. It's why I do these streams and why I do this channel. We talked too much, and Kelsey did not get to talk enough. Well, first off, it was a 3-hour stream. If she did all the talking, we probably would have put her in the hospital. But not only that, Mike and I, or the Random Party, or Glenn and I, we're not interviewers. We're not. The reason why the people that come on our show and guest with us, and even when we have somebody like Don come on for Gamer's Health, it isn't like we're interviewing the person. We are hanging out. We are chatting. It is a conversation that will naturally go in a direction it wants to go. We don't have a script or a set of questions, or the prep before the show is literally telling stupid stories that some of them might get told again on the show, just to get the first time guests to relax.
Sort of an icebreaker time, and then they go on.
So I really got to say that we have been blessed on this channel, not just on Saturday nights, but on the other nights, to have amazing guests that want to come back and have a great time when they're on. But that's, again, because none of us are interviewers. I certainly can do interviews. I certainly have, but mine are more of the investigative type. And if you're subject to me doing an interview, you're not going to be very comfortable. The audience may be entertained. It's like, Tenkar asked what? Because I'll go into my, my prior occupation. I don't want to potentially send anybody into
that and like I think the easiest way to sometimes get information from people is just by having a more comfortable conversation. It's like when people come into therapy, the first time that you see them is very uncomfortable for them, because you're firing questions and questions and questions. And, sometimes they will half answer that, or they'll not answer that, or they'll deny straight out. But it takes sometimes the relationship for folks to reveal a lot more about themselves and their experiences. So I think that the warm-up time, the icebreaker time is
very important.
Really important. And then, the fact that somebody is engaged enough to be able to come back and, you hear more about that person. And honestly, this is like, people are coming on to talk about their games and, what they're doing with these things, not necessarily to bare their soul, but
tell me,
just,
tell me what I need to know. But honestly, if a guest on this channel, in other words, not one of your regular hosts, has such a good time that they are relaxed and enjoy it, and they go, holy, it's almost 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, and I told Kelsey, listen, I'm not a young guy. My bladder was ready to, I could have. And we actually, after that, we still had another 30 minutes of talk in us afterwards, other stuff. So, I mean, I consider myself blessed to have access to some amazing people in the industry. And I'm very glad that we get to bring them to you. We're going to bring more people to you on Saturday night. People, again, for health conditions, health issues. There's a couple of people I want to talk to at North Texas, talk to them in person, and see if we can work some things into the schedule, because there's lots of stuff that's important to us, and I think gaming is a very important thing. We do live streams on it and videos on it, and write games and publish all that stuff. But without your health, you have nothing, right? Because if you don't have your health, everything else is something that you're trying to claw at, because you're trying to claw at your health. And in all honesty, nobody, like they say the saying, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, which is like, okay, yeah, common sense saying, like, sure. Well, you know what? You can encourage people to make healthier choices. You can't make them do it. Right? The only person that can make you
you can offer out options,
right?
And then just be in community and talk about it with them. And sometimes people do start to do certain things. Oh wow, she's making it look easy, or he's making it look easy. Maybe I could actually do that, or maybe I could do a piece of that. And that's where it all starts.
Yeah, I mean, again, Rach and I, it's important for us to be able to be here. First off, deal with your content, your comments, your questions, and give you updates on what's going on with us, so you know the process that's going on with you is not simply you. It is unique to you, but it's not unique that people have to
there are
go
some
through.
common denominators that we all have.
Yeah. So, like for Rach and I, and before we delve into all the Mother's Day stuff, and then some other adjacent stuff, um, Rach and I this week, actually yesterday, we had our endocrinologist. We share an endocrinologist, and we will actually share an office visit when we go, which is
just like the ortho. We share the ortho.
Yeah, and I guess the nursing assistant didn't know that, so she's going to bring Rach back, and she's like, "Oh well, some couples, it's like no." It's like I have nothing to hide from Rach.
Yeah, I was like, he can come too.
Yeah, it's like I sleep next to this woman. Believe me, there's no surprises that I'm going to hear about. So, I really, again, a good doctor is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good endocrinologist.
Yes.
I was supposed to have his partner, and that was my initial referral.
Oh, you were supposed to have Rachel.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
because there's another there's a Rachel doctor in there,
and she didn't have with
dog care.
Yeah, I think that
she didn't have one.
I think her schedule was booked, and they wanted to get me in early. So, I mean, again, it's been a blessing for nearly the last 3 years. So, he was happy with my numbers. Blood pressure, spot on. What was I? 130/70. You were 120/70 or something like that.
I was 110/70.
Oh, then I was.
And you were 120/70.
Just still spot on, awesome. Yeah. But my Mounjaro, we're gonna up the ante on the Mounjaro.
Titrating up on the Mounjaro.
So right now I'm at 7.5. I had started out at 2.5. So I'm going to be going up to 7. From 7.5, I'm going to go to a 10 milligram injection, I guess it is. So, in theory, the stronger the dose, the greater control for your blood sugar and potential for weight loss. Now, I've lost nothing on the Mounjaro, but my eating habits have certainly changed. But there's probably still that thing in the back of your head, like, but my breakfast size is this. And I'm sure I could satiate my stomach with smaller serving sizes. I had to adjust myself to that, maybe. But
we all can benefit from that.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's gonna start, I guess, next Saturday. Took my last dose of 7.5 today. We'll pick.
So we get a field trip on Tuesday out to the Shishi Pharmacy.
It's
like an Upper East Side luxury pharmacy.
Yeah. It's
in Great Neck.
Yes, it's got the marble floors. It's got
all the very expensive oh my god, tchotchkes and how do you call this? The sticks that you put in your house that smell nice and radiate.
Incense?
No, it's not incense. It's reed diffuser. That's what it's called.
Reed diffuser.
Yeah, they're they're like sticks or reeds that they go in a glass vase or a little thing that has the fragrance in the bottom, and you put it in and it come onto the sticks and it lasts for like a few months.
Are you going to be buying one, or are we?
No, I don't buy those for here.
Okay.
I used to buy them from my office, but I don't buy them anymore because I don't want to gas you out, you know.
Like, oh my god, the whole house smells like lavender and lemongrass or something like that. I'm just. Yeah, and as an aside, folks, so
sage or whatever.
I certainly perfumes. When Rach gets a new perfume, I can have a reaction to it where my throat will close up if I'm in close space.
And so this is why I've changed, a lot of the formulations that I get. So I do more often now get colognes and eau de toilettes. Colognes is like the lightest concentration of fragrance oil that's in the mixture. And then the next step up is eau de toilette, and then eau de parfum, which I have a lot from the past, but I haven't been buying so much eau de parfum anymore.
Eau de parfum.
Yeah. And then, like there's like the extracts and the pure perfume. I've never bought one of those.
Okay. I'll take your.
So that's the concentration as it gets more intense. So
okay. I take your word for it. But in any case, that was yesterday's agenda. So I think that's the last doctor's appointment for a little bit. I think perhaps
until July.
Yeah. Tom, I once went to my doctor on the street of Boston. He didn't like something he saw and made an appointment himself for me to see a specialist the next day and saved my life. That is a good doctor.
No way. He just saw you in passing and said, hey, we got to get you to.
Well, it's kind of like I didn't have a GP until I had the goiter on my neck when I had the inflammation of my lymph node. So my friend Kenny, God bless Kenny, he's like, hey, listen, I have a good doctor. He takes the city health insurance. Don't need to make an appointment. Just got to go to his office on his work hours. And so I did. And I was in his office for with him longer than after that initial chart made, because it was your first chart. He checked that, a little touch here, and he goes, yeah, okay. And he says, you need an x-ray of your chest. No, the chest, my abdomen. My abdomen. And I was like, all right. So I got the script, make the call, go down like a day or two later, get the x-ray done for my abdomen, and I'm arguing with the x-ray tech because they're like, I can see the swelling on your neck. Why aren't we doing an x-ray of your neck? I go, I don't know. He said abdomen. I think,
I see.
So why was he going for the abdomen? Because my doctor knew right away it was you were looking at lymphoma. You were likely looking at Hodgkin's. And he was already, as a GP, trying to get the staging of it. Because if it had gone to my abdomen, we'd be at least stage 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the abdomen yet. We are at stage 2. So from there, I got referred to a thoracic surgeon who did the biopsy, and that came back for the Epstein-Barr virus. As I was still on the table, this is the other thing. I know they knew what it was right away because we didn't go any further. We didn't do that threatened tracheotomy because they knew when I was still on the table at the initial biopsy what they had. But I wasn't notified until I saw the doctor 3 days later in his office, and he wouldn't look me in the eye when he gave me the diagnosis.
Oh.
So that was, but everything worked out fine. And same, my GP's like, "Oh, this is great." Okay, I went, "Great, I got cancer, dude. That's that great." And he calls up right from the exam room. Calls up another doctor. Let tell you, when do you have a space for somebody in your schedule? Yeah, and he had an office near to where I live. He just had one out in Ridgewood, and he goes, "We have an opening in Ridgewood tomorrow." He's like, "Eric, you're going to Ridgewood tomorrow." So I mean, that's the kind of doctors that.
And that was to start.
That was to start chemo.
Chemo, okay.
But even before chemo, I started to go see 2 other specialists to check out the heart and the lungs. Mm-hmm. So a good doctor. Most doctors, I shouldn't say it. Most doctors are good. Exceptional doctors, those that take it to the extra level, that they take that patient care, patient concern to an extra level.
Like people that you feel like they're in it with you.
Yes. Certainly. They are not as common. If you find one, keep them. If you find more than one in different specialties, you are blessed. I am So I think we will dive in. We're gonna dive in, right?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna dive into the Mother's Day aspect of this because it is Mother's Day weekend, and for us, my mother's gonna be in the Poconos. We don't have to worry about that. We're actually doing a Mother's Day present for my sister because late tomorrow afternoon we're picking up my niece for a sleepover. So, you know, we are, every gift that you give for Mother's Day isn't necessarily take somebody out for dinner, give them
it
flowers.
doesn't always have to be perfume or flowers.
Now, Rach and I, Rach, I should say, was like, oh, I want to get, what did we wind up getting?
Oh, we got azaleas.
Azaleas.
Mm.
Rach,
I would see them all over the neighborhood walking around. I'm like, we need some azaleas in our yard.
And your mother would love it. So we wound up getting so the one gigantic plant. We got two really beautiful small plants. We gave them to my mother early, not knowing that they were going to the Poconos. Mm-hmm. And then after, she goes, oh, yeah, we're going to the Poconos on Friday. I went, oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing we gave you a gift early.
Yeah. I want it in the middle of the yard.
Oh, she knew exactly where she wanted it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll take out the rose bush that didn't make it. And
is that dead?
It's dead. It's dead.
It's dead at the door now.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So
I thought you said it had something.
I thought, but I don't think so. I believe it is done dead. So we will use that space.
Maybe we'll go back for that other color, that dark color. See if we can find that.
Rach wants I
want every color because I saw it on somebody else's yard.
I want that one and that
we
one.
We have two colors. We have a lavender one and a very bright pink.
Yes.
And then there's that other pretty, sort of.
I created a monster.
Pink. Yeah, like a sort of an orangey pink.
Just so folks know. But in any case, we're dealing between the two of us, right? We've got my mother, Rachel's mother passed.
Yeah.
But when that was recent.
10 years ago. It'll be 10 years in November.
They talk about time. Time heals all wounds. Time makes loss easier to deal with. But when we had the first Mother's Day without your mother, Rachel, it was not the easiest.
No.
Because it brings a lot of this stuff to the surface. And
how much you miss them. And,
yeah,
it gets easier over the years where, you celebrate people who mother you. So, maybe it's not your mother, but it's someone who gives maternal energy to you. So
right, well,
and it's my mother-in-law. So
right, and like Chris, our son, my son, your son, he's not going to call you for Mother's Day, but he'll call you, and he'll be annoying.
He'll call me something.
Where's Rachel? It's too quiet over there. Where's Rachel?
Yeah.
But because of course Chris lost his mother.
Yeah, 14.
So, to call or act like somebody else is your mother, and
we would never expect something like that.
So that Mother's Day for him for years was, we gotta go to
the cemetery. Yeah.
So
we'd be going on the way to Connecticut to my family, and
oh my God,
stopping at the cemetery before, so we had to leave at the crack of
dawn to get that done. Because let's be honest, when it comes to certain holidays, and Mother's Day is the holiday.
Yeah.
People go to pay respect to their mothers on Mother's Day, put flowers on a grave and such because they predeceased their offspring, and cemeteries can be, especially depending on cemetery. St. Raymond's in the Bronx is insane.
Yeah.
Don't even think about going there on Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Any major holiday.
But Mother's Day, you got to get there when the gates are opening. It's Just be waiting there because otherwise,
it's a mob scene.
It is a mob scene, and not just because it's in the Bronx. The worst thing that you can do in these stressful situations is avoid it. That's my opinion.
Oh, you mean the worst thing you can do is just like push it down?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the expert at avoiding dealing with emotional stuff for 20 years, I was very good at it. It was instinctual. Rachel and I have had that discussion. It allowed me to operate, allowed me to respond, allowed me to function in stressful times. But it's not the most healthy way to get through life. Generally speaking, processing stuff at the time when it's appropriate, and again, maybe it's a situation where it's not appropriate to deal with it,
right?
Especially if there's another emergency going along. Yes, you got to be able to.
Where there's like other family members who are celebrating,
right?
Their roles as mothers and things like that, and
you all suck. You don't want to be going,
the real mother is gone.
Oh, you all look so happy. I'm so happy for you. Go screw. You don't want to be the one doing that.
All right, so there's different things that you can do to be able to, handle some of that. Making sure that you have someone, with you that knows you well and is a supporter. Those car rides that you have to take to go and see that family member, those are great opportunities for processing. I think that's something that we do a lot. We'll go somewhere, we'll do whatever, like, whatever family things, and just kind of like process our feelings or whatever got kicked up during that time.
Yeah, Terry, my mom has been gone almost 27 years.
Yeah.
And Mother's Day is still a hard time. Yeah. I can certainly see that. And again, part of the process is acknowledging that you're going to have a hard time. All right? The last thing
acknowledging, this thing is forever. We can't.
Right. But don't leading up
don't not feel.
And right, well, I'm saying, like, leading up to Mother's Day, don't be in denial. Like, oh, this is going to be different. I'll be great this year, and then you're right.
I don't even know anything about Mother's Day. I'm not doing anything for it. La la la.
Right. Don't be in denial. Denial does not work when it comes to yourself, because who knows you better than you? No one. And who knows you better than your conscious mind? Your unconscious mind, your subconscious, knows you better than anything else. And it will fuck you over if you try to, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to deal with it. Yada, yada,
The more you try to push it away, the harder it comes out.
Yeah. So these are little
more
things.
Intrusive it becomes.
If I personally, for me, I'm glad I spend Mother's Day with family. Now, if at some point, my mother is likely, I hate to be like this, but my mother will likely predecease me, right? Which means at some point, I will have Mother's Day.
Which is the normal progression.
It's the normal progression. It's kind of how the world works. I'll have to deal with the Mother's Day without my mother. And that's going to be rough. And I'll be very happy sharing it with Rachel, sharing it with my sister, my niece, who she herself was like, I think the best non-stressor I can give my parents is going away for a night on Mother's Day. I'm like, well, that's a perfect gift, and that's cheap. I like the way you think, young lady. You're a smart one. In case she's watching.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. I'm saying that for your benefit, Shannon. No, I'm saying it because it's true.
Breeze is picking up.
Which is nice, actually.
It is nice.
It was very hot today in New York.
It's a humid day, like muggy.
Yeah, it was muggy yesterday too.
More so at night.
Yeah. We actually put the AC on last night, which.
So you got to see the sunset tonight, so it should be nice tomorrow.
Yes, but now I've been suffering from severe allergies for the last 2 weeks, nearly. and they've been getting better, but I still like have to, hack up fur balls without the fur, because I have this postnasal going on. Well, last night was the first night in about I think I did 4 nights straight of sleeping in the recliner. Because what was happening that night that I would lay down, the postnasal would get into my throat, and then I'd be like a cat hacking. Last night there was a lot less of that. Why? The AC was on. AC was filtering out the impurities in the air, which leads me to believe that I should put up the other air purifier. Probably would help too.
Okay, so we can do that.
I should have had a V8.
No, we can donate the other one.
Yeah, which usually means give it to my sister. But
no,
that's
all good.
It's the Stina Family Recycling Program. Eric and Rachel have something. They decide, I want the new shiny. We will pass the old shiny down to somebody else in the family. But this case, the air purifier is probably like 10 years old. It's not a new shiny.
No. Who knows if it's in any condition to do it? Would they have to buy new filters or whatever?
No, that one's actually filterless. You can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just clean it.
Just clean it.
Nice.
It's not too shabby. Nice. And the replacements, the Dyson, one of those bladeless fans with the filter.
Oh, it's a fan too.
Yes. So we're gonna give that one a shot. Get that set up. And so now something else that we were going to touch upon, which isn't directly related to Mother's Day, but I think that we're getting a format to the show, which means we're organized, Rach, which is really scary because we don't.
We're not known for.
I'm not known for my organizational skills. I'll tell you that one. They call Bad Mike the most organized man in the OSR. And they say that because they're trying to give him a dig. I am the perfect work spouse for Mike. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. And not because...
It's not because opposites attract.
It's not because I'm filling in for his deficiencies. It's like, I understand you completely. But what I was going to talk about is something that has come up. And it comes up frequently again. It's on social media. Social media... It's a great tool. It's a great way to meet people and communicate with people, and it's also a great way to learn to hate your fellow man and woman, honestly. Because if you think an obnoxious drunk at your local pub is a pain in the ass, wait to people who have that pain in the ass tendency, don't need to get drunk, don't need to leave their house, can just be at a keyboard and stir shit and then enjoy it. So, what's been happening recently, and I'm going to pull out my own example, but I've seen it happen to others, and although it usually has some kind of political agenda attached to it, it's not always from the left or it's not always from the right. But it is always from an extreme. Okay, it's never never Tom, Dick, or Harry that's somewhere in the middle who doesn't really give a shit about stuff and just wants to live the life. Gonna go out there and stir up shit. It's so somebody in their infinite wisdom, and if you watch today's earlier video on the Zach Smith lawsuit getting dismissed, the last couple of minutes are kind of addressing this too from a different angle. But this individual decides that I'm now the forbidden word at the tavern. I won't let it be used without defining what you mean by it. Problematic. A Yahtzee supporter. I'm not going to say what the actual word, but if you think of people with the crooked cross, not playing with dice, but sounding like it, Yahtzee, said that me and my cohorts or co-hosts,
and it's not so hotsy-totsy.
Yeah, not so hotsy-totsy when you're playing with Yahtzees. Yeah, I can be a funny one too with the words. Yeah. So made the comment that Does anybody else find it disturbing that somebody, and again, these jackasses like the vague book, someone who had a very popular Kickstarter in the OSR would appear on Tenkar's YouTube channel, and then goes on with it because he's a Yahtzee sympathizer.
I still don't understand about that person. Does that person stand to lose money because that new Kickstarter game makes good money or is popular?
Nope.
What do they lose?
What they lose is
why are they so?
I believe because
they grasp it so hard.
It's first off, it's using a troll account. It's using a fake account with very little research. Be good, young man. Doing very little research. With Mike and myself are like 99.9% sure, right? As Ivory Soap, as to the person's real identity, on Facebook, and all I want this person to do is apologize. But the reason I'm bringing this up, though, is because they make this blanket accusation, just like when people call you somebody. Lamentations of the Flame Princess is problematic. All right, well, explain to me what you mean by problematic. Oh, look it up on Google. No, fuck you. I'm not looking it up on Google. Explain to me why something is problematic. Explain to me why somebody is a Yahtzee sympathizer.
Because when something is problematic, we all understand what the word problematic means, but
it doesn't tell me.
It's sort of the what makes it a problem for you, and
for anybody.
Those things help. What makes it a problem for you?
Put it in context.
Yes.
So here's the problem, though. There was a thread going on about this.
We all have different views of what's problematic,
right? And when these comments go and they start becoming threads or whatever, and you've got, for the most part, three ways people are going to respond. You have the people that are already predisposed because they dislike an individual or they got a certain meaning, and they're going to go, "Oh yeah, they're all Yahtzees," because they're already predisposed to it. And then you're going to have the people that are going, maybe I won't comment, but I'll remember that Tenkar guy and his friends.
I heard they were
Yahtzees. Yeah, I heard they were Yahtzees. No proof given, but yeah, I wasn't thinking about that because you'd never post anything on the internet if it wasn't truthful, right? And then you have
and then it's like you can't use that word for just random shit.
Yes, you can, because it's the internet. It's the internet, Rach. It's the internet. You can do it.
Yeah, because what really is a Yahtzee, and you don't want to cheapen what a real Yahtzee is. Just lay it on everybody, and have people not see the real ones.
Well, here's the thing: there's a third category of commenter, and you only can know what the commenters are thinking because they're the ones that put their words down on the computer screen. And the third type is, well, I've never seen this, or it's the first time I've heard of Tenkar. Can you give me some examples as to why? All right, that's fine. Or I've never seen that I've watched his channel. I've never seen that. Why are you saying that? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, the person that drops the problematic or drops the accusation steps back and they walk away because they are looking for the fire, those embers to catch fire. It's like a pyromaniac waiting to see the results of their little building that they set on fire. They don't care if it hurts an innocent, if it takes.
Oh, they lurk in the background and watch the fire department come and
right, and they enjoy the chaos that they give. And honestly, there's only one way to combat that, and asking them to actually define what they're talking about is part of that.
That, and to be for real, you're saying all these things under this other identity.
Oh yeah,
you're not being a true person to yourself, and then it's Because what good is it to signal under some false identity when you quote unquote really stand for something?
Right.
Which means you'll fall for anything because you stand for nothing.
Well, and that's part of it. So that third category.
And that's all you were doing was signaling.
The third category questions. The third category wants to know. So I'm going to say, in addition to asking, do a little bit of your own research, especially in our community. It's so easy. Like another example, and I get accused of being a Zach Smith propagandist or defender.
A sympathizer.
I'm a sympathizer. You're a sympathizer, you piece of shit. You like Zach Smith. No, I don't like Zach Smith.
I know.
Okay? I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I really detest the man based on my personal interactions. I have to define that because that's important. I have a personal relationship with Zach where I can see in his interactions with me that he's a shitty individual to me, with me. And I've seen his interactions with others online, and they were certainly pretty shitty too. I can make my own observations. But when somebody...
Oh, well, at least he's consistent.
Yeah. But when others go, well, he was accused of, and he was, a sex offense, and they call him a sex offender, I go, was he ever charged in criminal court?
Does he have to register?
Was he ever convicted of a crime? And no. Yes, there are civil cases involved in this. Civil cases are not criminal court. All right? So if you want me to define somebody as a criminal, they got to be convicted of it. It's not just going to be based on hearsay. It's not going to be based on, oh, I heard that Zach is. No.
Well, right. It's not going to be like inference and circumstantial stuff, which kind of gets...
Again, listen.
Gets through when it's a preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
No?
Well, again, civil case is a preponderance of the evidence. 51-49. That's the easiest way to look at it. And in all honesty, if I was Zach, I would never want this shit to go to court because he, in my opinion, has an attitude that does not play well in court. He's not going to do well in front of a judge and certainly not play out well in front of a jury. Sympathy will not be on his side. He would most likely not be victorious. But even then, even if the court found him in a civil case that he was liable for a judgment.
How does that happen?
What?
Wouldn't a civil case be dependent on
the criminal? No. Nope.
Yeah, like you would think that someone would have to have a conviction. Then it's like, okay, well, now I'm suing you for the restitution or whatever.
Rach, no. Look at Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
Trump has just lost a civil judgment. He lost a civil case, but he was never charged with a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you will see it bandied out that he's a sexual abuser. He's not convicted of that crime. He was never charged with that crime. And so maybe I look at things with a different
And the way
view.
he talks is absolutely repellent.
Oh.
Like
Trump or Zach? Oh, both. All right.
Both. Okay, we'll take that.
We'll take that. So I have been labeled, by the way, though, as a Zach apologist, a Zach defender. Why? Because I say, you know what? He's produced Red and Pleasant Land, probably the best, or one of the best releases ever in the OSR. Vornheim, far overrated. I think it's pretty shitty. And I think he personally is a pretty shitty individual, but he can make some competent work. It's kind of like Lovecraft. Lovecraft was a shitty human being.
Oh, yeah.
But he created some amazing work. Can you separate the person from the work?
And then also, like, was he a shitty human being because of, like, trauma? Was that what happened?
Oh, I don't.
Like, I'm trying to remember some of the documentaries.
Well, I know not on Zach.
No.
Although Zach has a biography book out.
Oh.
You according to Mike, one of the most boring books about porn. Naughty Professor. Funny how buzzwords are bandied about by the ignorant. Maleficent. I can never say that word. Maleficent. With no actual proof to back up their claims. But that's just it. That's why they used it. That's why they use words like that. So they don't need to back up their claims.
Maleficent.
We are at a point where you can't assume ignorance, but you need to assume evil intent. When I was called problematic a few weeks ago, when Greg Christopher announced that he was going to be on the Talking Crit live stream, and he's going to be talking Shadow Dark, somebody popped in and said, "Oh, I don't know who this bad Mike guy is, but from what I understand, Tenkar is what's the word, Rach? Problematic." So somebody else, Matt Jackson, popped in and went, "So what do you mean by problematic?" And the person never answered, because that's also part of this process, right? I'm not going to, the guy who used problematic about Lamentations in my community over the Taverns community on Facebook, I asked, well, can you tell me exactly what's problematic about Lamentations? I said, I can probably find a half dozen things about Lamentations products that offend me, but why are they problematic for you? Because you're throwing this word around. Oh, well, go to Google and Google Lamentations of the Flame Princess and problematic, and you'll have your answer. I went, no, because I'm asking you to tell me why it's problematic to you. Yes. You don't tell the fucking admin to go Google it. And then he's like, well, you're still refusing to answer my question. I go, I'm not answering anything until you tell me why it's problematic. And then I realized, hey, guess what? I have fallen into the trap. I am being trolled by somebody in my own community who's been around for a little bit. I go, I'm just going to put you on timeout. And by the way, just a little secret about
we're taking a break for a little while.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks to think about your activity. The reality is, if you are an admin on a Facebook channel and you put somebody on timeout in your group, they're gonna leave. Because if you need to do that, they're in that troll mindset, and they need that instant gratification of being that troll, and in that they're getting off on this shit. Okay, so
I can't imagine myself ever being like told I couldn't comment on somebody's video or talk, whatever, because I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I know.
If I comment, I only comment from the positive. I don't.
I understand that.
I don't comment on like, well, you did it, and I don't ever comment about like. Generally, I don't comment about political things.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna.
I observe people's stances.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna comment on Tom. He's never been charged in a criminal court.
Oh wait, let's see. What is he saying?
He's saying about the probability of Zach being guilty or not.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
You can't. He has never been charged in criminal court, let alone brought to trial, let alone convicted of anything.
Right.
So,
because that sex offender word is very
legal. It's a very legal term.
Yes, like to the point that they're a protected class of people, especially relating to violence. Like when you search a sex offender registry, it'll say, if you're using this to commit crimes against anyone on it, yeah, so, then
don't use
they
it.
Will yeah.
Don't use it as a shopping list for sex offenders. Like, I'd like to know where they are, just so I know where they are. No, you can't.
Like people look it up, if they have children that are in school, or when they go to buy housing, things like that. When they consider certain neighborhoods to live in, especially here because
we're so dense
and we're very densely populated. We have a shelter system, which a lot of times, like when sex offenders return home, or not home, but when they're released from prison, most often the shelter system is the only place where they have to go. So, if you have shelters around you, you are just hypersensitive to who's living in that.
So, again, there's enough stuff to say about Zach Smith that you don't have to
Go there.
Go to a definition that not only isn't appropriate and isn't the legal definition, but is the reason why he's probably had like a half dozen lawsuits put out there because people bandying this stuff around. I mean, and
right, and that those words, like, couldn't that be like a defamation?
Yeah. And the only reason why his suit with Gen Con and Peter Atkinson is getting dismissed is because either Zach or his lawyer is a complete asshole to the court. I mean, and to their opposing counsel. I mean, it's an interesting read, but it isn't like it's not a decision based upon facts that are presented, right? We never got to that. And even if we got to that, and even if it was found that these accusations were most likely true, it doesn't make them true. Okay? It doesn't make it something that you can say definitely happened. And I'm going to step into a dangerous world here for a second. I understand why we stepped into this world a couple of years ago. But when you say something like believe all women, it also puts people who have less than honorable intent into a position to make accusations that may or may not be true or may not be complete. And I have, again, no idea. I've read the stuff about Zach online, and if 1/10 of what is claimed to be true is true, he's a more horrible person than I already thought he was.
And I'm sure that's the case, but you know.
but here's the thing: I'm not sure that's the case. Okay, because I have had. Listen, my world for 20 years was guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you were in a department trial, which we called kangaroo court, because it was a civil court, even though it could have financial fines on you, time fines, take your job away. It was a civil, so you could lose and still not have committed the offense.
Oh.
Because it was 51, it's more likely you did this. They don't need proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And if I'm going to label somebody something as horrible as a sex offender, I need that proof beyond a reasonable doubt, or I need a confession. And we have neither. So for the handful of I don't know, jackasses, they go, oh, Tenkar is a defender of Zach. I'm not a defender of Zach. I am a defender of the law. I am a defender of interpreting things properly. Right. And not
the truth.
The truth.
The real truth.
The real truth. Again, Zach is a shitty person. My interactions with him, I would not piss on him if he was on fire and screaming my name.
You were funny. You were like, I wouldn't want my family to be around him.
I wouldn't. He's a miserable fuck. He's deceitful. He deletes comments when you challenge him on shit. So you have because he's a manipulator. My own perception, based upon my own interactions, I don't have to rely upon anybody else for my words and my interactions with him. But I was not privy to any of this private stuff that went on, so I can't say,
right.
Oh, I was there when. Well, thank God I wasn't there when any of this shit happened.
Oh, Jesus.
You know? Naughty Professor. Glad you covered the issue with the editor being problematic for working on Lamentations of the Flame Princess products. Jane's rapid response was good, just irritating that a company can erase someone's work they actually did. Well, here's the kicker. And Joseph, welcome. Here's the kicker as I see it. For what I understand, this editor did the work. The work is complete. Likely they've been paid for their work. But now their name is being scraped off. Bye-bye. You are not going to get credit for the work you did, but we're going to keep the results. And I think if you're going
that is very exploitive.
Yes. I would say if you're going to say somebody has to, we got to take the name off the book. Why? Because they worked with Lamentations. Well, first off, if somebody to work on Lamentations, a little background check, because James gives credit to everybody who works on his projects. And I've never heard anybody complain during the process of James. I've heard people afterwards disavow, I'll never work with James again. Not because James is a bad person, but because his association with Zach, toxicity just kind of breeds. But
that wasn't until recent that he started to work with Zach.
No, he was working with Zach for years. It's recently he stopped working with Zach. Okay. He stopped working with Zach. But folks forget that, like, one of the standard bearers of the people who condemn Zach is someone that used to be, I don't know, one of Zach's, trainees in waiting, or Stacy D. Stacy got her job at Lamentations of the Flame Princess to be like that public relations arm through Zach. The vagina cover for the Burning Bush cover, I should say, for Swords and Wizardry, third print. That was Zach Smith telling Stacy, yes, that's the cover. Go for it. But what if they don't like it? Doesn't matter. You do it. It's your project. So she was, and Zach were very close until the accusations came out, which is fine. I wouldn't want him to be a friend of mine with those accusations either. But it's like, separate the person from their work. Zach's prior work, there's some very good work. Some work that I don't care about. There's some that's exceptional. And to think that, like, A Red and Pleasant Land will
that would be canceled.
That would be canceled. By the way, you can get it for $1.25 in PDF right now at Drive-Thru. Drive-Thru at least said no further work from Zach Smith. They didn't pull old work. But again, and in Zach's case, honestly, my personal opinion, this happened to Zach because Zach is an asshole of a person with his interactions with everybody in the gaming community.
So because he has a repellent person.
So this was an excuse for them to go, oh, well, now he has these accusations. So, oh, God, it's a bizarre fucking world. Joseph, in my opinion, Zach's a predator and a shitbag. I'll leave it to the prosecutor to decide what they can prove as to crimes. Well, here's the thing, Joe. You have to have a complaint before you can have a prosecution. And nobody has filed anything in criminal court.
Where did that case go? Like, because wouldn't you think, like, the judge would be like, oh, this isn't for here. You got to go through this first.
Joseph says, hi to Eric's wife and fellow pink person.
Hello.
So, I've seen this before. All right. And it's, you have accusations that are criminal in nature, but you don't take them to criminal court. You take them to civil court. Because civil court gives you a pay. Now here's the other thing. But there's a reason why that, and I don't know the particulars of this, and I don't know how anybody decided how they were going to file. But if you go to criminal court and you lose, right? Like if you go to criminal court and say, Zach did X, Y, and Z, and it goes to trial, and they say not guilty. Remember, they don't say innocent. They don't declare you innocent. The court does not make you an innocent man. The court declares you either guilty.
Not guilty person.
You're guilty or not guilty. And if the court comes back not guilty, and then you go to civil trial.
Oh yeah.
The jury can find out that there was a criminal case and the defendant was found not guilty. So there's a bit of this. There's a strategy going on to this. Naughty. I picked up some PDF for using your vid. So you got a little affiliate cred for me. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. It all adds up. We're closing in on 3,000 subscribers to this channel. When we do get there, we will have another giveaway of RPG Now gift certificates. I don't know. Some part of me wants to say $300 worth, but then I might go, maybe I should go to court course. Maybe not. At that point, what's $300 make? Yeah, it's easier to, Joseph, it's easier to prove by the civil court standard. And especially if it's something that has more of a time frame. And this is just...
What do you mean that it's more in the distant past?
It's more in the distant past.
Not
and I'm not talking about...
ways of gathering evidence or whatever.
And I'm not talking about statute of limitations. I'm just saying, when it comes to certain crimes, juries will look at certain ones. Well, if he did this to you 2 years ago, why are you filing charges now? So, but civil court, well, yeah, we know how long things take to go through civil court, right?
Mm.
Well, it takes forever.
Oh, you're thinking that people don't even think to ask that question.
Then. Some people don't.
Mm.
Some people don't. But these are just certain, like, I know people that've been like, well, do you think that they're going to file criminal charges in this? Like, no,
Yeah, it feels like the farther the time lapses, it doesn't.
Right. I mean, theoretically, could you file criminal charges after the civil case? But the civil case, any testimony in the civil case could be used as evidence in the criminal case, and the same thing goes for the criminal case. So it all interweaves, and again, I don't know the mindset of anybody that's involved in these legal actions, so I can't speak for their mindset. I can just speak in generalities from what I have witnessed, either through my career or through other people I know and what I've read, and it's just see how that stuff lines up. Joseph, the fact is they may never actually be able to get Zach for anything criminal. It's been too long. The prosecutor might not give a crap about this. Or in my opinion, not minor stuff or whatever. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't even know. I haven't gone through the civil. Well, actually, I haven't gone through what was Mandy's initial online complaint about Zach, where she talked about all the stuff. I did not read it word for word, and I certainly didn't go through it as if I was I don't know, a supervisor in a detective squad, figuring how we were going to
put your hat on.
My cop hat wasn't on. My investigator's hat wasn't on. I wasn't figuring what charges can we file from this, because if the charges would only be misdemeanor charges, there was a statute of limitations on that. That's a lot shorter. And again, just because you file the charge, just because you research the charges, just because it is chargeable. It also depends on where the acts happened and where Zach is now. Because unless it's a serious felony, there's very few cases that get extradited. You're not extraditing for misdemeanor sexual abuse. You're not extraditing for even some felony sexual abuse. Once you get out of state, it's just cost prohibitive for a lot of jurisdictions.
Oh, really? So. Even among the 50 states?
Oh yeah. I would stop people on a car stop, and you'd run for the warrant check, and you'd come up with a warrant check for and it'd be like, wanted in Michigan for like robbery 1. This is like the most violent robbery you can get. And then you read it, and will not extradite further than surrounding states.
Oh my God! Because he ran far enough.
He ran far enough away.
Wow.
So these are things that you know. So
that's horrible.
So when you watch like I don't know, Law and Order or whatever TV show you watch, you see them like
you just assume they're
dealing with homicides, and homicide will get extradited. That. But you have to remember that unless somebody's going to bring themselves to your court, you go and pick them up, right? So if it's a location in Michigan, and Michigan PD, state PD is to pick somebody up, they have to fly to the state in question, go to where the person is being held, pick them up, bring them back. It's expensive, right? You got.
I mean, it's not like Rikers is that far from the airport,
but that it has nothing to do with it. They got those flight tickets aren't free.
No,
your investigators that are going to make up the arrest, they're on the book the whole trip. So they're getting paid a lot of overtime, and a lot of times they just won't do it.
Wow, that stinks.
Joseph, it's hard to prove that stuff in a criminal case after the fact without physical evidence. Yeah. I mean, some of this stuff is hard enough to prove with the physical evidence. We went through enough of that when I was working in the South Bronx, because the majority of our domestics, by the time the person was being lodged in central booking, not arraigned. This means that we did processing, and we got them down to central booking. By the time those, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 hours have passed, the spouse often changed their mind, and when you get them down to the ADA, the domestic violence ADA section, they would decline to prosecute.
Yeah.
Now you had to make the arrest. You always had to make the arrest, but that would be a decline prosecution.
Mm.
So I give Mandy a lot of credit for being able to bring this stuff up and speak about it publicly. But legally, she put herself in an awkward position doing so, having waited the time that she did.
Yeah, that's rough. Like, because like a lot of people in relationships, like this, are abusive. Like you want it to work. You just want the abuse to stop,
right.
And then it does for a little while, and then you're kind of fucked because then people look at you as, oh, why did you wait so long to report this?
Right.
Why is this so wrong now? And that's not.
But like I said,
fair to look at it like that.
The dismissal in the Gen Con case with prejudice, which means it can't be refiled in that court, it can appeal it to a higher court, is because if you read it, essentially, Zach's side, the plaintiff's side, was pulling some shenanigans.
So then that's the right thing to happen.
So it doesn't mean that necessarily what Peter Atkinson said was, I don't know, lawful. We'll probably never get to that point because this case has already been dismissed and then brought back on appeal. So this can happen again. Who knows?
I thought because I'm getting with prejudice.
Yeah, but you can still appeal.
Oh.
And Zach likes to appeal.
Oh. He goes all the way.
Yeah, he's got trust fund money, so he's got deep pockets, and he goes all in.
Oh, these D4s are hard to pick up.
Stop picking up dice from the floor, Rach. Stop. It's a nice D4. It's a wonderful D4, but stop picking up the D4s, Rach. Stop picking up dice. All right. We are over an hour and 15 in. Mm-hmm. Folks, I wish you all, if you are celebrating Mother's Day tomorrow, you are a mother, you are a child, you are a spouse.
You give maternal energy to any creature.
Yes. You could be the parent of
Happy Mother's Day.
Of a dog and 2 cats. I mean, it happens. Yes, happy Mother's Day. May you be blessed. May the memories of those that we have lost be remembered fondly on Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And may it be a peaceful day. For us, it's going to be a day of gardening. We'll probably next week talk a lot about our gardening.
Oh, yeah, we have a big grow-off planned.
Yes.
Not for bad things, but for like cucumbers and lettuces and tomatoes and trellises.
Yeah,
we have some stuff on the way, so it's going to be exciting.
We're weeding out the weed. We're not planting the weed. Okay? Although I got a delivery from my pharmacy that does like deliveries from Manhattan, and I was like, man, there's some pungent weed being smoked on my block.
I get it on the packages a lot.
Yeah,
like, oh my god, this thing has to go right into a plastic bag.
Yeah, I was just like,
because the smell is very.
This is very pungent. I was like, I hope it didn't get into the inner packaging. I could get a contact high. But folks, thank you so much for joining us. As always, every Saturday is a blessing. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. And if there are any suggestions for anything that you want us to cover, June's going to be cool. We should have special guests, including an actual, like, real, like, author, like.
Yeah.
So, I was going to Well, tenkars.tavern@gmail.com. Best way to reach out to us if you need to catch us via email. Although most of you can find me on social media anyway. I'm not a shrinking violent. I'm not a shrinking violet. I don't hide.
Okay.
Okay. All right, folks. I will catch you all later.
Take great care.
Be good.